Hi, and welcome to One Voice Radio and Media. Today we have the pleasure of speaking to Gavin Sharp, who's the CEO of Band on the Wall. Thank you for coming in and speaking to us, Gavin.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for asking.
Thus, tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I run Band on the Wall, and before that I was a professional musician, so I travelled around the world playing music, so I was very fortunate with that, and I've played all over the world, including South America and North America and all over Europe and Asia, so I was very lucky.
Okay, then Mark, do you want to take it away, mate?
So, what is the history of Band on the Wall?
Well, Band on the Wall, if you don't know, has been there for about 200 years, and it's had a license for music, dance and song for pretty much all that time. So it's one of the oldest still operating music venues in the country. And it was originally called the George and Dragon, but then in the 1930s the landlord had the brilliant idea of putting the band up high on the wall so it could fit more customers underneath the stage. So that's what it did, and it then got the nickname the Band on the Wall.
Lovely. Right, then Sarah, make sure you speak into the mic.
How long have you been the CEO?
I've been the CEO for 14 years, and you know what, Sarah, I did not expect to be there that long, but there you go, that's what happens sometimes. And I arrived just as they'd done a rebuild of the venue, but then we discovered it was a bit too small, so I then started fundraising to raise more money to make it bigger. And it's taken me all this time to do it, and it's only just reopened as the new, bigger Band on the Wall.
Lovely. Right, then Jane. Make sure you speak nice and clear, yeah?
What made you want to take this up this room?
To be honest with you, Band on the Wall is very much in my blood. When I first arrived in Manchester, when I was only 17 years old, some of the friends that I was there with, I went to music college, and they said, you've got to go to Band on the Wall. So we walked through what is now the Northern Quarter, but then it was really derelict and run down. And we discovered this club, and we went inside, and I just thought I'd arrived in heaven, because it was it was a fantastic band. I'm trying to remember the name of the saxophonist now. Eddie Lockjaw Davis, I think. Eddie Lockjaw Davis was playing. And so we just loved it, and then from then on I just went more and more, and then I started working there about 25 years ago, but then I left and did lots of other jobs and went back.
Oh,
Sorry, that was a long answer.
Right, so I'm trying to make sure you speak into the mic, James. So, what kind of music
What kind of music
is played
is played
during these events?
during these events?
Well, the thing about Band on the Wall is we play music from all over the world, and all different kinds of music. We don't really do much pop music, we do a bit, and we don't do much classical music, we do a bit, but we kind of do everything else. So we do lots of jazz, lots of things like Cuban music and salsa, we do lots of blues, we do lots of kind of R&B and folk music. So we describe ourselves as kind of a living music library, so it's somewhere where you can come to discover music from places other than here. And we also talk about we're the place where the world comes to play. So they're kind of our strap lines, and it's basically all about music that people make from different times and places all across the world.
Any other drummers there? Anyone fancy any of them genres? I know you said you liked a bit of soul last week. You like a bit of R&B, don't you? I was a fan of the reggae.
Oh well,
The reggae
we had the Abyssinians on the other night, and it was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah,
So,
they look brilliant.
yeah.
Right, so Rob Morris. Do you want to pull the mic round to yourself there?
Okay.
So you know which one you are, yeah? The one that's circled.
Okay. Please tell us about the charity that funds Band on the Wall and what they do for the company.
Well, the charity is called Inner City Music, and Inner City Music has been in existence for about 45 years now, so quite a long time. And in fact, it might be coming up for 50 years now, so really is quite a long time. And it supports Band on the Wall by helping raise money for the music education programs. So we have learning classrooms and places where people can come and learn about music upstairs. So the charity helps fund that. And then we also do kind of tours and events across the country. So it helps us raise money to support those tours. It means we can take the kind of music that we love and champion to places around the country where people don't normally get access to it. So very often in kind of rural places or smaller towns and cities.
Brilliant. Okay, that's Sarah.
Are there any upcoming events you are excited for?
Oh, well, I get excited about most of our upcoming events. Sometimes, though, Sarah, I've got to say I don't even, because I've got people who book the bands for me now because they're younger and trendier and funkier than I am. So they book them. But I'd say that one of the ones that I'm most excited about is Bibio Sound Machine, which is a really, really exciting, upbeat, great fun band. So there's that's one of the ones that I'm really excited about. But Sarah, there's lots and lots. I could sit here all day. I think we're just putting on sale Alison Russell, and that will be another lovely gig. So I could talk so much about the bands and the music. We'd be here all day. So I'll do that.
Right, there we go. Fifth, do you want to pull the mic round to you again? Nice and clear, yeah?
We noticed you're an equal opportunities employer. Tell us a bit more about that and why you do it.
Well, it's not a thing that we really have to try and do, or though we do consciously do it and we do have policies, but I'll be totally honest with you, we are perfectly happy to employ people from anywhere, any background, or any disability or anything, as long as they can do the job that we need them to do at the time. So we have a really, really mixed workforce, and that's often the case in all sorts of ways. So men and women and people from all over the world and all kinds of different backgrounds, and people who've got degrees and not got degrees, and some people who've got disabilities and not got disabilities. So we just employ people. The main thing when you're working at somewhere like Band on the Wall is that you have that love and passion for the music, and you kind of understand what the charity does, and that's our main thing, really.
Would that be anything that anyone would be interested in here? Louise isn't here today, but she mentioned that she would love doing something like that last week. Yeah. Anyone else? Working with bands, working with music, learning the bass, learning the guitar? No? Imagine Rob spinning the decks.
Yeah.
I can see you doing a bit of that, you know what I mean? Right then, Mark, do you want to pull the mic closer to you? Speak nice and loud into it, yeah?
What is your favourite part of the job?
I think I'd have to say the music, obviously, right? So I get to see some of the best bands, for me, some of the best bands and that's not the most famous bands. We're all about people who can really play. So I get to see some of the best bands in the world on a weekly basis for free, you know, so that's got to be the best part of it, hasn't it? You know, and I've met some of the you know, some of the greatest musicians, so you know, that's the best part of it. I enjoy the challenge though. I enjoy the challenge. I've got a lot of staff and keeps us all very busy, but I do enjoy the challenge of keeping the business going.
Lovely. Right, and Sarah?
Are there any job roles able that we could be involved in?
Yeah, well, probably. I was just thinking this before. I mean, we run all sorts of programs and classes and all sorts of things. I suppose when it's the main club in you know, and the venue's up and running, it's a bit loud and lots of flashing lights and noisy. So you'd have to work in that environment. You've got to be happy with loud noises and flashing lights and stuff. But we do stuff during the day that's education programs and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. You know, absolutely. There may well be some jobs that we can get you involved in.
Brilliant. Okay then, Jane. Let's pull it round. So you're going to be alright with this one, yeah? So it's nice and clear into the mic.
Do you have any
Major aspirations.
main aspirations why you're
CEO.
see you like spending across the country?
Back, yeah. Right, well, thanks, Jane. Yes, at the moment, right, so we do quite a lot of concerts all over the country, and we do love doing those. So we've just done a tour with a band called Sungazer, and we're doing our biggest tour ever with another artist called Corey Wong. So we're taking him all over the country, but we started off in tiny venues and he's now in really big venues. So that's pretty exciting. My focus for so long has been on finishing the building, and we only just formally finished it last week, so we did the launch event. So I'm just having, other than that, I'm having a couple of weeks off. What next? But there's lots of ideas bubbling around. My main thing at the moment, to be honest, is getting and keeping the learning programs going, because they're quite expensive to run, but you know, they're great, and I love it when we walk in during the day when everyone thinks the venue is shut and we've got a building full of young people making music, or babies doing a music club, or whatever it is, you know, different things on different days. So I love all that. So one of my focuses is just making sure I can keep the money coming in to keep running those kind of clubs.
Brilliant. Okay then, James, trying to pull the mic around. Okay. So, is there anything
Is there anything
you would like to ask us?
you'd like to ask us?
Of course, yes. So do any of you play, or do any of you love music and listen to lots of music?
Any of yous?
Yeah.
What do you play or what do you listen to?
I listen to the all-time musics, like from the 60s to the 70s.
Oh, do you? So what? So like the Beatles, or before the Beatles, like
Before the Beatles.
like Frank Sinatra and
Yeah.
those. Well, yeah, absolutely, just like me. I absolutely love that era of the 50s sound. My nana used to work in the Winter Gardens ballroom, which you'll have seen it maybe if any of you watch Strictly. So when they go to Blackpool, that room that they go to, that's where my nana used to work in the bar, and she knew all the great big bands and big band leaders. So I grew up from being tiny in my nana and granddad's house, where they would play all that kind of stuff, you know. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the big band sound and the swing sound.
But everyone else? No? I know you're more of a noughties pop man, aren't you? Shaky bit of that.
There's nothing wrong with noughties pop. You can all enjoy that.
Loves a bit of that. What about you, Kofi? What kind of music do you like to listen to? Do you listen to pop or...
Pop!
Listen to an act that I thought you did. Anything else? You like a bit of 80s, a bit of like
The
disco?
80s. The disco.
Oh,
Like Earth, Wind and Fire.
oh, absolutely. Gosh, you've all got great taste. Love Earth, Wind and Fire.
You have some interesting taste, don't you? Country music and all this kind of stuff, a bit of everything.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Amazingly, I also love a bit of, as you say, I love everything that is basically, you know, I just love it.
Good music.
Yeah, I just love good music. Yeah. They do lots of. They call it Americana now, so it's a bit like country, but it's a bit more songwritery. But yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Is there anything else you'd like to ask him?
I don't know. What else? What else are you doing today? Who else are you interviewing?
Well, I think this group's not got an interview for a while. We've got the rest of the week. I think there's one on Friday, isn't there? And then I think
Friday, Good Friday.
oh yeah, we're not in Friday.
Yeah.
It's bank holiday. Bloody incredible.
We want to try and get a stock car driver for you, don't we?
Actually, I already got one lined up.
Have you got one lined up? 'Cause she's into a stock. She's into a stock.
Are you into your driving then?
No, drive one.
Yeah, I drive a Subaru. Do you know what a Subaru is?
Subaru?
Yeah, I've always driven Subarus. Yeah, do you know what they are? Back in our day,
A bit like Band,
in our day, they were. I guess this is not the interview though. They used to do all the rally car driving. They used to win the competitions, and it's not a sportsy Subaru, but I do like the Subarus.
Right, anyone else have anything they want to ask, or are we all okay? We all good?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Ben and Rob, do you want to do this outro for us? Do you want to flip your page? And make sure you bring the mic into you. Come on, pull it round, all the way round.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming in today, Gavin. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
It's a pleasure to meet you all. Anytime.
Brilliant.
I'll bring my saxophone in next time.
We'll hold him to that. We got his number.